I honest to God had no idea that Commentjack was still making commentaries. Did you? Nobody did. We all thought he died in a blaze of flaming pony sex, but I guess he's still making commentaries. And it's being made on somebody who, at this point, is almost just as irrelevant as he is. And this one awakened something in me. Pure, unbridled rage. From all parties, in fact. And I bring that up because I want to make something very clear. I'm not defending Kablam, and I'm not defending Mr. Enter. You are all fucking morons. You are all equally still in the gene pool, still trying to learn how to do a freaking chicken Superman pencil. You people don't even know how to dog paddle. You are all equally terrible. Just because I'm getting on Commentjack's case doesn't mean that you're any better. So I just wanted to make that clear. Okay?
Ha! I escaped from Duotones after making the 5th succom. Now! Where am I?
In the Commentary space station.
What?
I created a space station to make sense of my background.
You know, I wouldn't mind if you had a storyline. I could care less. But I'm pretty sure that requires this little thing called
actual competence.
This is just insanely lazy. Morgan is laughing at ya. Hell, speaking of Morgan, Skeleton Nation made a more cohesive intro than you did. Pathetic.
So, this is a space station.
Hey, do you like it when a joke is run into the ground constantly? Yeah, you're gonna see that a lot.
You piece of shit! You ruined Ava! You ruined my Japanese enemies!
KB? Buddy? Do you have something on your eye? Are you having a seizure? Is this a half-assed attempt at a joke? Okay, I get it. You're trying to make the one viewing later shit. But even if you had Master, Ben Stiller great acting, it still wouldn't work. If you really think Enter is the worst reviewer and has no redeeming qualities, why would this joke even exist? You're literally saying, yeah, this guy is the fucking worst. I hate his fucking guts, but hey, I have to make this joke anyway, so let's give it another go.
Yes, because when somebody sucks at something, it's gonna be that way forever. It's not like you can still have good expectations towards something you usually don't like. And even then, this is gold coming from a guy who consistently repeats the ear rape joke constantly, over and over again, even though the one viewing later thing is also an overdone joke.
Enter proves himself to be overly sensitive towards a cartoon character, make terrible points, and just prove that he takes cartoons way too seriously and literally. Ugh, this is why I hate this guy. He gets upset over cartoons, of all things. Who gets upset over goddamn cartoons? Reviewing a bad cartoon and criticizing it is one thing, but throwing a boner hate fit over it, well, that's just... I can't respect that. At least when the Nostalgia Critic does it, although he's starting to show his ass too, at least he's a goddamn character. Mr. Enter, I don't think he's a character. I think he's doing it in real time.
Yeah, while I agree that Enter's anger gets very uncomfortable, the sole fact that he gets angry at cartoons shouldn't be an actual problem. Because, surprise surprise, cartoons are not this holy thing you cannot complain about.
That was not his point, dickhead. His point was that, hey, don't overreact about cartoons. That's a stupid thing to do. Key term, overreact. He has never, and I mean never, outlawed cartoon reviewing as a concept. So please, stop putting words into his mouth. You have no reason to.
Challenger. You assassinated JFK. You sunk the Titanic, and you copyright struck my fucking video. I worked so hard on it, you dog shit looking freak.
Well, I don't have any proof of all of this, but I'm just going to assume that he did all that stuff because, as this episode claims, Coconut Fred is the master of disaster.
Stop looking for a cop-out, you flaky piece of shit. We all see right through you. You're just using this episode's title as an excuse, and a terrible one at that, to use these terrible crimes against humanity for your own sick, twisted sense of humor. Comparing a cartoon character to all these deaths and your own egotistical way of saying, my video got taken down. Ah! Fuck you.
So apparently he's a whiny little man-child for complaining about his video being taken down. I want to fucking strangle you right now.
Oh boy, you're overanalyzing this point. Fantastic. It's not just a video got taken down, so I'm gonna complain about it. It's how he complained about it. Because if Mr. Enter was, smart, he would realize that maybe comparing all of this stuff to actual tragedies where real people died, joke or not, is insanely stupid and also insanely immature. I'm pretty sure people who aren't lobotomized would figure out what Kablam's point was.
About half a year in the mid-2000s, and it was one of the most shameless rip-offs in cartoon history. I'm serious, it would find its home in the 70s with all the Scooby-Doo rip-offs.
You know what, I'm just gonna record my voiceover and just, basically sum up what he's trying to say in these next few parts of the video. He drags it out for way too fucking long, and it really, really gets grating.
No. He's not doing what—
Oh my god, this show is such a SpongeBob ripoff. I mean, really, everyone is Megward the Wizard. It's a SpongeBob ripoff. I hate season 5. Fuck Casey Alexander. I want to cut off his dick.
One of the first things we see is a lemon person trying to escape the island, and Fred basically starts his day by pounding into him and destroying the escape attempt because, hey, that's funny, right?
Ah yes, Mr. Enter. Cartoon slapstick and mean-spirited humor. No, not funny. Not funny at all. Unless it's a show I like, of course. But sorry. Not funny at all. No.
Fuck it, I'm gonna drink bleach. You talk about it, Jack.
Well, rep my nigga.
Also, I watched enough of Mr. Enter's videos to know that in a good show, the characters getting the mean-spirited humor either warranted or have some kind of payback. But the characters in Coconut Fred, they don't get either of those.
Why do they need to be bad people in order for the slapstick to work? Like seriously, Mr. Enter throws that shit around all the goddamn time, and I've never seen him properly explain why it has to be bad guys who get the slapstick. Slapstick works regardless of affiliations of fictional characters. If you were smart enough to not just copy every single little thing that Mr. Enter says without thinking about what he's saying, then maybe I wouldn't have to make this point.
Instead of one Patrick Star, they have two, who, like pretty much every twin in any form of media, is dressed exactly the same way, speaks the exact same way, and does exactly the same thing. Because no one in the media seems to know that there's a difference between twins and clones.
Or maybe that's because it would be easier to animate. Maybe it's because it would help viewers not get confused with who is who. Maybe it's because they can develop some comedic purposes with this. Maybe it's because they're fucking twins. I mean, come on. You're nitpicking the fucking appearances of twins. Not the characters themselves, not what they do in the episode, their appearance. He good critique.
Well, since the bleach didn't work, I'll cover this point. 1. How do characters who look and sound exactly the same prevent the audience from getting confused? In fact, that's why they could get confused in the first place.
His point was that two characters who acted the same would be way easier to follow than two characters who looked the same and acted differently. Now, Kablam is sort of wrong here, but not for the reasons you pointed out. Am I gonna give you these reasons? No. Why? Because I'm not doing the job for you.
2. Implying they ever make a joke about it.
Where's your proof?
Lazy.
Guess what? I've got exciting plans.
The next morning, the Cherry woke up in a Saw-style dungeon next to the annoying Orange. But in all seriousness, what exactly is the plot here? In any episode of SpongeBob, even a bad one, we know exactly what was going on by now. All that's happening is Fred pretty much annoying everyone on the island.
If this were another episode of the series, I could excuse this a little more. However, since this is technically the pilot episode, although it didn't air as it, it technically is the pilot, they want to develop the character for the audience. They want to show the audience what type of main character they'll be dealing with. It makes sense for this particular episode because it's the pilot. Maybe if you did some research and found out that it was the pilot, you wouldn't have sounded so dumb here.
Oh yeah. Me again. for the mixtape. Oh, yeah. So,
It doesn't change the fact that they have to wait until halfway through the fucking episode to start the fucking plot. Do you even listen?
So you acknowledge that there's a plot. So Mr. Enter's point is basically moot. So Kablam's right. So
goes to a slot machine to figure out how to stop the volcano from erupting. He gets a postcard that tells him to do a pose in front of the volcano wearing a flower shirt. Surprise, surprise, it doesn't work. Also, each time the volcano erupts, it farts.
Oh, it's not working.
So Fred's next plan involves him getting toilet paper to... I have no fucking idea. If everyone hates Fred, why are they listening to him? This plan is absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe it's because the plot of the show that they and you already established is that whenever Fred gets an idea in his head, it automatically happens. And since the characters established this, they already obviously know that whenever he gets an idea, it happens. They know that it does, so that's why they listen to him. They know he has these godlike powers.
Yeah, except whenever this happens, the characters have to pay.
Blah blah, Fred is too mean. I don't like this because he's too mean. I don't like that he makes his friends do mean things even though that's the joke of the show. And mean-spirited humor is not funny and I do not like it.
I want your organs in a silver platter.
that's it. You're not gonna debunk his point or anything? No? Okay.
Now, I would end it here because for the rest of the review, he basically just complains about how it's a SpongeBob ripoff for the 9 billionth fucking time. And that, oh, it's too nonsensical, it makes no sense, even though it's a cartoon and it doesn't have to. But I think I want to read the end credits listing that he put at the end. Let's read.
Oh my god, look at this fucking spurk. He's trying to claim a video that got wrongly taken down and fight for his rights. Isn't he such a fucking man-child for doing this? Yes, he is. Listen how fucking funny and edgy I sound, guys. Am I funny? Am I funny?
Hey, look. He misinterpreted his point. Hey, look. He misinterpreted...
If you come back, listen to our criticism so that you can improve. I mean, critique isn't Satan.
Okay, let me explain to you the situation. Nav, oh, you stupid bastard. Do you not realize who you're commentating with? You know, the guy who gets overreactive and over-defensive whenever somebody criticizes him? Do we need to talk about the MTR com? Do we need to talk about his commentary on George Raccoon? Do we need to talk about literally any reaction to criticism he's ever gotten? I would not be getting so mad about this. Cause Kablam does have that problem. But guess what? For this entire commentary, you two butt munches have acted just so immature and egotistical about the whole situation, with one of the most holier-than-thou attitudes I've ever seen in a commentary. I don't think I have ever watched a commentary that actually hurt me to sit through and commentate. Now, there is one tiny little part at the end of the video. It's Diego's final thoughts, and he spends most of it just assaulting Kablam Bandicoot. But here's the thing. Kablam Bandicoot is just kind of an edgelord. What has Commentjack done? Commentjack has basically attacked people like Doodle Tones and George Raccoon. He has an ego that would make Lily Pete piss herself. He's overreactive to criticism, and he's a general hypocrite. Compare that to Kablam. All he does, even at the worst of times, is just make shitty content on YouTube. This video, in my eyes, is this shameless final attempt to get cool in the commentary community, to get the attention of the big boys in a way that isn't critiquing you, which is something we know you can't handle. And that just makes me disgusted. Because if I was able to do it, I'm pretty sure you're a unibrow having ass, probably able to figure it out too. But you know what? I've rambled on for far too long, so Commentjack, I'll see you later. Send me a postcard from the inside of your ass, because I know your head has been there for a very long time.